Podcast
Oi, oi. How are we?
I tell you what, being away for work does not get in the way of Stockport County Live.
Priorities, mate. That's what it's all about. Priorities.
Priorities. Although I'm in a hotel that is not my own.
A nightclub. You're in a nightclub there.
It sounds like it, doesn't it? It sounds like it. I am on this. Just showed you off there. Look at this, mate. This fancy little number.
That is one expensive ice cube, I can tell. That's that.
I'm taking it home with me, putting it in the freezer.
That's not from Weatherspoons, that, mate.
It is nice though. And it's my first one as well. So,
cheers.
Oh, you got a case of Corona? Hang on. Cheers.
Cheers.
Dink. So, let's jump straight in with the obvious.
Yes,
it's not going to be the most professional show tonight, given that I'm over here. But it kind of makes me feel like we're in the Albert after a game. You know, it's a bit more realistic to football fans about football when it's like this, you know?
Oh, I've got a visitor.
No, well, we said, listen, we're already off to a start where I'm sitting in a bar. So it makes me feel like this is more of a normal football chat, if you like.
Yeah.
No pristine studios. We've just gone straight over to the Albert after a Saturday afternoon fixture.
I like it. It
feels nice, doesn't it?
It does. It feels natural.
Do you know what I should say as well, Dicko, as a caveat to anybody watching or listening on tonight's show? There's no Matty Mainwaring. So no technical talk of formations because...
Basically, no. Just two dummies doing a podcast, basically. Go on,
we hit the post and they scored a free kick.
That's it. What more do you need to know?
But listen. Do you know who's just texted me? I'm hoping he's texted me saying he's going to join us online. But it's not. It's county legend Peter Ward was going to join us tonight.
Skinny pants.
He's just texting me and he's in trouble with the missus. So so he can't. But so it's me and Nee. And I almost don't want to come down off this high, Dicko, but we have to talk about the result of the weekend. You said it the other week. Were we just papering over cracks?
Yeah. That's what I was afraid of. Like I said last week, was the Maidenhead result just papering over some cracks that because obviously, again, we've not come up trumps of any goals. Is that 3 goals in 5 or 6 games now? 2 goal scorers still in 6 games. It's not good enough form to be getting out of this division. And we were saying the games will come thick and fast, but the results need to come with them. And it gets to Christmas, and it's a long way up that table. For the teams that are consistent and consistently winning and consistently nicking points away from home and dominating at home, and that's what we need to be doing.
In fairness, because listen, managers will always come and get under pressure. You know, it happened with Jim when he went for a spell without winning games. It's happened to every manager at every club ever.
Yeah.
What I can see from Simon Rusk is that he obviously has this idea of the way he wants to play football. He obviously wants to crowd out midfield. He obviously has, players like that. He brought in, who was his first signing, remember, Will Collar, who plays so well alongside John Rooney in not letting other teams really have a minute in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
You've got Ryan Crowsdale on there, your old mate, fantastic footballer, really good player. So there is method in there. But, I don't want to keep referencing former managers, but we know how important not giving fouls away are.
Yeah.
When things like that happen on the edge of a box, when the opposition have got a player like Matty Warburton, who we know so well, and we know what he's capable of, that is always going to hold us back. And it did this weekend. Yeah,
of course. Like you say about former managers, Jim was a big one for that, bit about giving away silly fouls and inviting pressure on ourselves and giving the other team a chance to register a shot on target. And he was a big believer in, obviously the less fouls we give away in the game, the higher percentage of a chance we've got to win the game. And it is true, like you say, they've got talent we've got talent on the pitch against Halifax, and like I say, Warby's they know what Warby's about. He's a goal scorer, he's a goal machine, and give him half a chance, he'll score. And he punished us, and it just seemed like they were the better team on the day. But going back to the players that we've got, I know it's not the same league, and it's hard to put a comparison there. But you look at the players that Frank Lampard had at Chelsea, and he was firing blanks with them. And Tuchel's come in, and they're the best team in the league. Do you know what I mean? So it's all right having all the players, but they've got to gel together, and there's got to be a system where it's working. At the minute, it doesn't seem to be working for one reason or another. I go back to last season. I think the pressure from last season, the expectations from last season, thinking obviously Stockport were probably favourites to win the league this season, but also the frustration and the memories of missing out on the playoffs affects players. And like I said to you last week, it's one of them ones where you've worked so hard all season to get to the position you got to, and you felt like pretty much the last hurdle, and you start picking yourself back up and regrouping and starting all over again. And it's mentally hard at times, and especially when you're not getting the result your way, then it's even harder.
I want to ask you, if you were a player in this team right now, would you be worried about where we are in the league, given that we wanted to win the league this season?
I'd be frustrated with our performances and the results. We've still got a long way to go in the season, but week by week, it's getting closer and closer to the finish line. And if we're not performing, and if we're not working to the standard and getting the results that we were getting last season, then I would start to get worried after Christmas. And it's going to be a case of, well, can we get to playoffs now? Can we push for the playoffs? Because automatic promotion was on everyone's mind at the start of the season, and now it's getting to the point where it's they're climbing away from us now. We need to keep up with the pack, and hopefully getting in the playoff positions. I know it sounds silly early doors, so early in the season, but the season goes so quickly, and the games come thick and fast.
Do you think then, given that we've got, like you say, so long to play, is it a case of really? I remember Jim saying something once that was something that really stuck with me. That on the day he said everyone's got to do their jobs, right? The players have got to play, the manager's got to manage, the physio's got to do his thing, the directors have got to do their thing. Then he said the supporters have got to support.
Yeah.
Now I know, and that there is going to be huge frustration around the fan base that we've been turned over 3-0, blah 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 blah, and I get that. Of course, especially in the heat of the moment, fans get really frustrated. I get that, but given that it's such a big game at the weekend against Wrexham, and we'll speak about them in just a moment, is it really important that we try and cast aside that frustration, as valid as some of it may be, to say, look, we are only going to get through this. By the way, there's a lovely cocktail making session going on, which you can probably hear. Is it a case of saying, look, this is, we've got to do our job. We've got to get behind the team, because in games like this, if we're on them from the first minute, they're going to feel that energy, that reception, blah blah blah. Or am I talking rubbish? What role do supporters have to play in that?
I think we're very lucky. I think we're very lucky in the fact that we've got some of the best supporters in the football industry, let alone the league we're in. The fans are great. They come out in the thousands, and over the years, you got to remember the disappointment the fans have had over the years, relegation after relegation, and into the conference north as it is, and the fans have still been there week in, week out. So that doesn't worry me about the fans getting behind the team. Obviously, there's going to be disappointment, and there's going to be anger from fans at times if the players aren't putting performances in. Now, if they put the performance in and the results aren't going their way, then the fans can see that they're working hard and they're grafting, and obviously, it's fine margins at times. But for me, the fans will be behind us 110% in every game throughout the season. Big games like you say, the Halifax game was a big game. The Wrexham game was going to be an even bigger game, mainly because of how we've started the season. We need a turning point, I think. Like I said, the Maidenhead. I think a lot of people thought the Maidenhead was a turning point, but for me, maybe was it papering over the cracks. I feel like a good result against a big team like Wrexham could be the turning point for us.
Well, it's worth saying that Wrexham have had a slightly better start to the season than County, but given the amount of optimism in their camp and the storyline that went on with them during the summer with the Hollywood takeover, and Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney being involved, and all that going on, there's going to be frustration from their side as well, because neither of us are sitting at the top, and it's ironic that I'm, as you may or may not have picked up on, I'm down here in London for an Anthony Joshua fight, so it is literally a heavyweight clash, if you like. However, the difference with the football at this weekend is, all right, it's two of the biggest clubs in the division. Neither of them are particularly firing.
Both
really
teams
need to win.
Both teams are really underachieving, and they'll be in the same boat. Their fans will be in the same boat as ourselves. Whereas they'll be thinking, big takeover, everything's gone on pre-season. One of the biggest clubs in the league, big stadium, big fan base, like ourselves, and they'll be equally disappointed, I think, with the start they've had, the players, the staff, the management, and the fans. But it's about how you deal with that, and like you say, it's fine line. Some of these games, you can get really disappointed in some of the games. You can play well. It's when you're not performing and not giving your all for the team. That's when the fans have a right to get on your back. And they'll be feeling as much pressure as their players will be feeling as much pressure as our players. But like you say, it's whoever comes out on top and deals with that pressure the best. And I feel like we've got the players in the squad. We've got some fantastic players in the squad that we should be walking this league. And it's one of them ones. It's easy said. There's no easy game. Doesn't matter if you're playing the bottom of the league or you're playing the top of the league. There's no easy game in this league. It's the hardest league to get out of. And it's been shown over the years. It's shown last year. We were almost there. But again, like you say, it's one game at a time, and the gaffer will be going into this with a fresh mind. I think fresh mindset, probably a fresh game plan, maybe. To counteract their strengths and attack their weaknesses. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about the game. So yeah, we've got to win. We're going to win.
What do you make of Wrexham and everything that's going on over there with the Hollywood, Deadpool, which by the way is a fantastic film.
Unreal. What an actor. I love him. I think he's a great actor. He's so funny.
I was there when Van Wilder Party Liaison was.
Oh mate, I saw the Van Wilder days. Unreal, mate. Van Wilder.
Don't eat the donuts.
He was in Blade as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mate, this guy's been there, hasn't he?
But I feel like sometimes things like this can take off the football, and it can probably build a lot more pressure as well, because it's not just people in Wales are watching now. You've got people all over the world who are following Ryan Reynolds and now following Wrexham Football Club, and they should be thinking, well, why is he invested? What's he doing this for? Why is he part of this club? And all eyes will be on Wrexham, and for me, that's inviting more pressure for the players, and the criticism they'll get. Like now, they're underachieving at the minute, so it's not always. I mean, it's great for the club because it's probably obviously drilled up a lot of revenue and whatnot, but it's also a lot of pressure on the players, and when it doesn't come off, it's tough. It's tough to be around.
What kind of game do you see playing out? Given that, like you say, both teams need a win. Both teams haven't started tremendously well. Both teams have a lot of pressure to perform instantly. Is this the kind of game where you think start cagey? Just keep a clean sheet in the first half, let's see what happens? Or is it the kind of game where you think, lads, it's a big game. If you can't get motivated for this one, get out the door. We're going for them now.
I think to be honest, because we've leaked a lot of goals, I think it's going to be quite a cagey game throughout. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 0-0 or someone nicked to 1-0.
Would you take a 0-0?
At this point, no, because we need to be winning games now. I mean, if they were top of the league and they were flying, then yeah, you're taking a 0-0. But they've not performed this season like ourselves. So I'd be expecting a win. I would be playing for the win, but cautiously playing for the win. You know, yeah. Clean sheet for me. To the next game is not. It's about a clean sheet for me, and not about scoring 3 but conceding 4.
Yeah. No, fair play. I'm trying to channel my inner Matty Mainwaring to see why what would he be saying this game?
I think Matty would say pretty much the same. I think, you know, to be cagey to a certain extent, you've got to take your chances and have a good game plan and stick to the game plan. I think that's very important. Sometimes you get frustrated, and then, like you say, we'll talk about the fans, and the fans are getting frustrated. It's a 0-0, and it's still very important to stick to your game plan. And work on the things you've worked on in training. The lads are full time; they train every day. Some clubs in that league probably aren't full time. Train two nights a week, three at a push. We've got fantastic facilities, and Simon will be working on different players and set pieces and defending in shape daily. So I think it's very important to stick to the game plan. And the manager's got the game plan and he's got that job for a reason. So I feel like we stick by him, we stick by his ways. I think we'll do all right.
Just going to move on from County for a minute, Dicko. I was at the much talked about, but I'd not seen it in person yet. I was at the much talked about new Spurs stadium today.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, I was, and it is tremendous.
Is it really?
It is tremendous.
Nice.
Obviously back there again on Saturday for the fight. And it got me thinking, well, other than Edgeley Park, which is, of course, given your number one top spot.
Obviously.
What are the best stadiums you ever played at? I mean, again, Wembley is obviously up there. But
I've played at some really, really nice ones. I've played at, tell you one of my favourites, the Majeski. Is it Reading?
Yeah. Reading Stadium.
That was really nice. Played at Aston Villa Park.
Of course, Ellen Road was your home ground for a little while.
Ellen Road, yeah, it's a massive stadium, huge fan base, huge following. I'm trying to think what else. Watford. I think the team's in the Prem now. I've played at a couple of grounds that are in the Prem. Swansea's played at Swansea. Is it Liberty?
Yeah, Liberty. Yeah,
that's a nice stadium as well. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to play at some really, really nice stadiums. I've also some really, really bad ones.
I'm going to say the nicest stadium I ever played in was Edgeley Park, and that's not just because I'm saying it to appease the fans. That's because it's the only stadium I've ever played.
Yeah, I'm thinking obviously Wembley, but then it's a close second, Edgeley Park, just for the atmosphere.
Off the football completely, Dicko. I know you might not be the biggest boxing fan in the world, but I think this fight this weekend has sort of captured everyone's attention, given that it's Anthony Joshua, given that it's the heavyweight world title on the line. Any thoughts on it? Who wins?
For me, Joshua all day. Well, I say Joshua all day, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I was listening to what's he called, Scouser, Bellew. Tony Bellew on Talk Sport the other day, and he's adamant that this will be Joshua's hardest fight and most dangerous fight.
I'm sure about that.
I disagreed as well. His words were, "This is going to be the hardest, most testing fight Anthony Joshua will ever have in his career." I'm thinking, now, pretty sure if he fights Fury, it'll be a tougher fight. But what do I know? I'm not the professional boxer. But yeah,
Matty, isn't it? This is
yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I feel like he stepped up, hasn't he? He stepped up to
the opponent Usyk.
Yeah, he stepped up, and for me, he's an animal. Joshua, the power he's got, and the skills he's got, he's the best for me. He's the best. I think I really wouldn't like to call the winner out of him in Fury. I just really the power Joshua's got is just out of this world. Fury's probably the best boxer in the division, technically.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you there.
It's not always about technique, is it?
No, Joshua's technique is still very, very good.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. And that power, like I say, well, I can confirm that there will be at least one Stockport County shirt on display this weekend at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
You wearing yours, yeah?
Of course.
Which one?
It's actually one of the training tops, but it still counts. Still counts.
See, being down there, mate, you should have told me this. You could have worn the Wembley one.
Oh, mate.
The Wembley one.
Next week. Well, I'll tell you what, listen, next week, because this is really bad of me missing 2 Saturdays to go and work fighting, to go and work boxing. I am actually working at Wembley next week.
Right.
So I will take you up on that.
Right, okay. Okay, so we'll meet up and I'll give you the shirt and you can wear it at Wembley.
How about I bring you to the fight as a guest?
Perfect.
Okay.
Like
let's speak off air and we'll do it at Wembley next week.
I'm sure I've got a couple of county shirts here.
Brilliant. Well, listen, Dicko, we're going to let you go because I can see my staff looking at me and thinking, you owe me for that drink. but listen,
enjoy the fight, mate. And and we'll catch up for the week.
Podcast Thursdays.
Oi, oi.
Over and out.